Yeah, Carlos, this video is for you. I don't even think Carlos is subscribed to my YouTube page, so he probably will never see this. But fake fan. Who's Carlos? Yeah, it's usually where Michael is.
So much fun.
What we're doing is same thing as we did yesterday. We're just now focusing that our A term is going to be greater than 1 instead of A being 1. So again, we're using the magic X to fill in our second degree polynomial, which is called a quadratic. We have our standard form of quadratic, ax squared plus bx plus c. What are a, b, and c? What do they stand for? Numbers, yeah. Be any number. So again, your steps for using your x, same as yesterday, where your a times your c term will go on your top. A times c, the product of those two numbers. And on the bottom is your b term. All right, just your b. Try not to get these two mixed around. It still would work if you put your b on the top, but it's nice if just everyone does the same thing. So b on the bottom, a times c on the top. We fill in, these two we can call like our given. We know what those are right off the bat. We have to find these two numbers on the side. And again, they add to the value b, and they multiply to the value a times c. So if we just do this first example, like I showed yesterday, no problem. Like I showed yesterday, it's nice to kind of label your terms starting out. So in this one, it's A, B, and C. So if we draw our x and we're trying to put numbers on the top, we have to do a times c, so 2 times 3, which is 6. And then your 7 would go at the bottom. And then we look at the factors. You can use, everyone should have some factor chart at their table. I also posted on Canvas, and I'll show you where that is when I'm done talking. But factors of 6 are 6 and 1, 2 and 3. So it's nice when they're both positive, because then we know both of the numbers that we put on either side of our x are going to be positive. So 2 plus 3 is 5, but 6 plus 1 is 7. So that works out. It multiplies to 6, sums to 7. Again, it doesn't matter which side the 1 or the 6 is on. They can flip-flop. All right, next example. If I'm doing a times c, that's 3 times 5. So 15 should be on the top of my x. 16 should be on the bottom. And the factors of 15, 1 and 15, 3 and 5. 3 and 5 add to 8. That's not going to cut it. So I got to do 15 and 1. Or 1 and 15. However you see it. And we're taking 2 days to learn this because it's crucial with what we do moving forward. And maybe the last problem I'll kind of show you what we're going to end up doing once we get back from break. But for the time being, we'll just keep going through these. All right, what should go at the top of my x? 7. What should go at the bottom? 8. 7 is nice. 7 is what we call a prime number. So the only factors of 7 are 1 and 7. So that's the only options we have. So 1 plus 7 is 8. 1 times 7 is 7. Good to go. Example D. We take our A times our C. Again, I just tried to change the variables so it looks different. But even if it looks different, we're doing the same thing. We're multiplying our A times our C. So 6 on the bottom. 5 down here. All right. This one, for whatever reason, this one kind of trips people up. A lot of people just jump to 6 and 1. But yes, that multiplies to 6, but it doesn't add to 5. It would add to 7. So you have to do 3 and 2. The only one that works. But then that wouldn't multiply to positive 6. It would multiply to negative 6. Which brings up a good point. It's almost like we planned that, John. There's only ever going to be one pair of numbers that works. I think some of you were asking yesterday if, I think it was Ari actually that asked yesterday, if you could have like, if it could be multiple numbers, or is there always just, there's always just one option that you can have that'll make this work, right? All right, next one, we have 3 times, we gotta be careful if we're multiplying this. Our C term is -2. So you gotta make sure your top is a -6 and your bottom is a -1. And if you start to recognize patterns, like we just did, we already multiplied to 6. So we should already have the factors of 6 fresh in our brain. It's either 5 and 1 or 3 and 2. So 3 and 2 have a difference of 1 between them. So we just have to make it now so they add to -1. So what should be negative, my 2 or my 3? 3 should be negative because when I add 2, I stay less than 0. I stay in the negative space. And then our very last one, on the top, we should have -10. On the bottom, we should have +9. -10 and 1. No, because this would add to a -9. So we're getting to a -9. Do we just flip signs, make this a plus, this a minus, then we get to +9. So here's where we're going with this. A little preview. You don't have to write this down. So what we're going to end up doing is taking these two numbers on either side, and we're going to do what's called splitting the middle term. So I'm just going to rewrite what we have right here. 2m squared plus 9m minus 5. And we're going to split the middle term using the two numbers that we found on either side. So we would write 2m squared, and we're going to split this middle term, which is 9. Instead of writing 9m, we're going to write plus 10m, because we have a plus 10 here, and then a minus 1m here. Then we're going to keep filling in what we have left, minus 5. So these two things mathematically are the same thing. Because here we could just combine like terms and get to plus 9m and it'd be simplified. But why we do this is because now that we have 4 terms, we can go ahead and start factoring by grouping. We could go through and factor this. We could have 2m, so this would be m plus 5. Factor out a -1, so this would be an m plus 5. And then we get 2m minus 1, and then m plus 5. So that's where we're after break, what we'll start doing. We'll do all this X method again, but then we'll start factoring by grouping. That's why I keep putting those factoring by grouping reviews on your practice sheets. We could take it one more step further and say, well, this is equal to 0, and then we could use zero product property to solve as well. But that's, again, not till after break. Little preview.